Hello, and welcome one and all to the channel. We're here with our live discussion. We are the Hologrumps. I am Colum.
And I'm Liam.
And we're here today to talk about episode 7 of Picard, Nepenthe, written by Samantha Humphrey and Michael Chabon, and directed by, and I'm going to butcher this, Doug Aronofsky.
Aronofsky?
Come on.
Not quite sure. Before we begin... there we have it there. Okay, so the episode begins with our cold open.
Another cold open, because for some reason they can't start in the modern time. They have to... Every single episode has to be in the past at some point, or a dream. It's in the past or a dream. It's a dreamy past.
Now we're in the past of the show itself. So we're back in like the second.
Yeah, we're back to, oh no, more.
Yeah, I actually was happy enough if we had just left that as a mystery. I didn't really need to see the O scene.
I didn't need the words. It's a bit like heavy-handed foreshadowing. We're gonna see it in the next episode, obviously. But before we get into the episode, just an overall opinion of the episode.
I really liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look at
Look at us.
Look.
Yeah.
I'm smiling. I'm so happy.
After 5 episodes of bashing the show, essentially, and sitting here grumpily, this is the first time we've started our live stream in a good mood.
That's not to say it's not without problems, but I'm happy.
It's the first episode that has rewatchability.
I'm content, and I'm looking forward to our second viewing.
I'm actually looking forward to it. I don't have to take any notes or anything. Yeah.
So anyway, back on with the story. We meet up with O and Jurati, and we get to see the full scene between O and Jurati, and it's a weird one.
Yeah, it shows like people gouging their faces and everything. So obviously they're learning this great secret, I suppose, of the Zhat Vash. What will happen if synthetic life forms are allowed to continue to exist?
I hope they. I assume it was O giving her past experiences. Because the trailer at the end, not to jump obviously far ahead, but the trailer for episode 8 showed the same footage, just longer format. So I'm guessing that it's going to be like, this is what happened when we tried to create synthetic life form
1,000 years ago.
Blah, 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 blah. All Romulans are synthetic Vulcans.
You know, when O took her sunglasses off, I thought she was going to give them to... what's her name?
To show her.
Yeah, and there'd be like little screens in there. Or else I thought, O would be an android, and she'd take the sunglasses off and be like...
robotic eyes.
This is what will happen. You know, just keep screens that come up on her eyes. Yeah.
Blue screen.
But no, it's just she just had a pair of sunglasses on.
And she gives her this pill, like a nano pill.
Take the blue pill.
It's basically like a blue triangle. And she says, you have to chew it. Which is actually counterintuitive, I suppose. You think you're getting
it means she can't just spit it out.
Yeah,
that's the idea.
Yeah, I suppose.
I liked how she knew to chew it straight away.
No, she didn't.
I liked how she knew to put it in her mouth straight away. She's like, take this tracking device.
Raspberry.
Okay, so then after that we go to the present day, back aboard the HMS Grande, and it's trying to get away from the Borg cube.
Which is impossible.
Yeah, and I got a little bit worried when I saw this because I was afraid the whole episode was going to be centered around the good ship Grande. But thankfully it wasn't. And we get aboard the cube, and Rizzo is interrogating Hugh, and Rizzo then kills all the XBs in the room, except for Hugh.
Because that would be jumping ahead, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And Narek gets into his own little ship because he's going to go and track the HMS Grande wherever it goes.
And how is he going to track it though, Liam?
Oh, well, remember Jurati swallowed the blue pill.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes.
That wasn't very clear because, we had this scene of her eating a tracking device and then suddenly there was Narek tracking the ship, so...
Well, it follows the same pattern that this show always does of introducing things in the episode so it can pay off later, as opposed to introducing things early on.
Oh yes,
you know what I mean.
Every episode seems to have its own foreshadowing every single time.
Yeah. Elrond comes in to help Hugh to his feet, and say goodbye to the HMS Grande. And I was just wondering where he was for the whole Hugh interrogation scene.
I just assumed he was hiding, lurking. I mean, he is a Romulan, so it's not as if they can track him.
Yeah, but would it not have been prudent for him to help Hugh? Hugh could have been killed. Loads of XBs were killed. I mean,
maybe they got split up. I don't know. I don't want to be making excuses for this.
Yeah,
this is nitpicky.
Generally, the things that we're going to nitpick and give out about are anything that didn't involve Patrick Stewart, Jonathan Frakes, and Marina Sirtis. Sorry. Shocked in the Gaelga coming out in me. Okay, so then we get our opening credits and our 19 producers, and then we move on ahead to
Picard and Soji arrive at Nepenthe, and they're greeted by a woodland elf.
But we have swords, and now we have bows.
Have I missed the mark completely?
Yes.
Well, it appears that when they arrive, they're greeted by someone. I instantly thought Lord of the Rings, and I was expecting like Oliphants to walk by and the name of Faramir to be called Faramir, and yeah, but it didn't happen. It turns out it's just a child with a bow. That's a lethal bow because the child's out hunting
rabbits.
Unicorn rabbits.
Am I right?
Yeah, they're unicorn rabbits, but
they make sausages with them.
That's just a bit confusing, isn't it? A little bit confusing. Why don't you just... Anyway.
So, Picard now informs Soji when they're on their way to the Riker Manor, or the Riker Lodge, that she's a robot, or an android. And tells...
Oh, yes, well, she's an android. I'm a what?
I'm a what? That's actually Kestra, the daughter of Riker and Troy.
Just say it.
The daughter of Riker and Troy.
And Picard.
And Picard tells Soji that she must be an android. And then Picard tells Soji of Daj's death. Daj died. And she died of the disease. And we get to the lodge and we're introduced to Councillor Troy for the first time in the series. And it was a really nice reunion.
Yeah.
And as this goes on, it kind of it reminds us of what the show could have been.
It would have been nice getting the old crew back together.
I know, if he had had... I mean, you kind of understood when you watched this why he didn't go to Riker and Troy for help, because obviously they have their own child to worry about. And
they have their own problems.
Yeah, we learn later on in the episode that they have a deceased son.
Yes.
And so they have their own struggles, and Riker is currently on leave from Starfleet, so he didn't want to interrupt their lives, essentially. So then we get to the kitchen, and Riker is preparing food, which is mainly what he does in the episode.
That's all he does.
Is all he does.
This is the longest time I've ever seen to make a pizza. It takes him all day to make one pizza. I mean, like, they sit down for dinner later on in the episode, and it's nighttime. And I swear it was midday when he started making this pizza. And I don't know how long it takes to make a pizza. But
7 minutes when you put it in the oven.
And it was a stone oven.
Yeah. So
I guess it was just that unicorn meat. Uni-rabbit.
Uni-rabbit, yeah.
Rabbit corn.
Yes. And we're in... Oh, sorry. And yeah, the reunion between Picard and Riker was nice. I expected Riker to hit his head off the roof when Picard came in.
Or cut his hand. Picard. Ah!
It's Jean-Luc Picard. Ah! When Troy comes into Picard and Riker in the kitchen, she says that she can't sense any emotions in Soji.
Yeah.
Because obviously she's an android. But in the episode Descent, when Data gets his emotion chip, when he's revealed with lore.
Yeah, it's just bad writing.
Yeah, and Deanna Troi says, Data, I can sense emotions in you.
Maybe it's a better designed chip in Data because it was made by Noonien Singh.
But wouldn't Maddox want him to be able to detect her as a sentient life form?
I don't know. I suppose if you're like trying to avoid having a whole planet of people who can sense emotions, going, "You're a robot. That's a robot because I can't sense its emotions." Yeah, then it would help. Maybe he's just not good enough. Maybe he went about a different way. Data had a chip that gave him emotions. Soji imitates emotions.
She's like a hologram.
Yeah. Can't sense emotions from a hologram, but a hologram thinks it's feeling angry.
Yeah, I suppose so.
It's a pointless.
Look at you, Soji. You think you're feeling these things. That's so adorable.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
so quaint.
Before I forget, I love that it's not in our notes, but I love that Riker's house has shields and cloaking detection devices.
I think it was
sensors.
It was to give Riker something. It was to give a sense of nostalgia to Riker. You know,
Shields up.
Shields up. Red alert. So so you got to say.
He got to say all his lines.
What did Picard say? He said, "Oh, we're being followed. Shields up, cloaking, or something." Like that.
It was like shields up, activate sensors, activate cloaking sensors.
Yeah. Troy show. Oh God, I thought I wrote Troy shows Picard a good time. No. Troy and we get a scene with Kestra and Soji, and Kestra is talking about Data to Soji, and generally the scenes between Kestra and Soji were actually nice
because they're on the same level of acting ability.
Well, yeah, I suppose so. Maybe they worked harder with them.
Yeah, the difference between Soji and all the other characters is all the other characters knew they were in Star Trek, but the person playing Soji, it feels like she didn't have a clue. She just didn't know that she was in Star Trek.
Well, I think the actress is only about 20 or 21, so yeah, she'd be probably one of the youngest cast members. Like Narek's in his 30s or something like that, and he's been in a lot of films at this point, or a lot of series at this point. So maybe they just didn't work as hard with the actors that Soji was in the scene with because they thought, oh, they're grand, and it did show that they didn't have.
But it's nice that Kestra knows about Data as well.
Yeah.
And he's like this mythological figure. She knows more about him. It would have been nice if they mentioned him whistling, you know. Yeah, I thought that would have been nice because that was the first time he ever met.
And it would have been what Riker would have told her. Like, he was always trying to whistle. You remember in Nemesis, he was like, I remember the first time I saw Data. Yeah. He was in the holodeck.
That's his. Do you know everyone has that story they tell about someone they...
Yeah, and to that day, it was still what Riker remembered most about Data. That his first introduction of Data trying to whistle. What was he trying to whistle again?
No, something like that.
It was
I think it was something like that.
Oh, Pop Goes the Weasel, was that it?
It might have been Pop Goes the Weasel. Yeah, it was because he finished it.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah. God, that was really dragging up my memory.
I know. Buried somewhere in the old noggin.
Oh.
So we get to we get to Thaddeus's bedroom.
Thaddeus?
Who was the child or the son?
I feel like Thaddeus is a name... Thaddeus is the name of his father or an ancestor, because I very vividly remember Riker I didn't do any research on this.
No.
Very vividly remember Riker saying Thaddeus at some point. So type in Thaddeus Riker there on your phone.
I'll jump in as soon as I've come across it. But there was a really nice part in that episode, or in that scene, where we saw Picard in uniform with baby Thaddeus. And it was really nice.
Look at the baby.
Again, it kind of reminded me what the show could have been if Picard had stayed in Starfleet, if he came back at this point, you know.
Yeah. But it was really great actually listening to the music as well. They relied on the old music to get our old nostalgia feels up. But we ended up going back to the Grande, which is... The angling on this was a bit bizarre because they say they're being tracked by Narek, or they say they're being tracked. And the camera angles don't do it any justice because it looks like Narek is right behind them, about 100 meters behind them, with the way they do the camera angles, and it's a bit ridiculous. And it seems so surprising that they have such incredible sensors at the time and they can't detect this guy sitting right behind them. But anyway, Rios decides that he's got a way to throw Narek off course, and that way is to do the old hit the brakes trick, which works in every comedy ever. It really does. It's like the show takes a slide whenever Picard's not on screen, and it's really unfortunate. Wait, what have you got?
It was in the episode of Star Trek Voyager where remember that Q is trying to commit suicide, and the Q Continuum steps in saying you can't do that. And it turns out that in the past... Oh,
he saved his ancestor.
Yeah, he saved his ancestor, Colonel Thaddeus Riker. So that's actually a really nice reference that they put in there.
It's a bit weird that Will Riker decided, it would be a great name.
Yeah, it is weird, but it's not. It's kind of nice fan service because it's not on the nose. It's not. It's not just something really stupid or really apparent like he named his
or after his son, his imaginary son when he was captured by Romulans.
Yeah. So it was. It's nice. I was happy with that. Where were you, Colin?
Where was I?
Interrupted you.
Where was I? Well, I'm at the top here. So Jurati makes a Gormengander reference to the crew,
which is the big giant space whale that we saw in Star Trek Discovery. When
I don't remember it.
Well, it's actually a brilliant episode because we get to see the crew of the Discovery be killed repeatedly by Harry Mudd. Yeah.
I don't remember the episode at all. I have no recollection. I know what Harry Mudd looks like. He looks like Bruce Maddox.
Yeah.
But I have no other
He comes out with the Gormengander and starts shooting the place up. Great fun.
Can't remember. But this was before I wanted to see that whole crew die. So I was like, no, this is a novel episode.
Yeah, I suppose in hindsight.
Yeah. Jurati's character is pretty much falling apart at this point, though.
Yeah, she is. I mean, I find her very hard to follow as a character because
she's so erratic.
Very erratic, yes.
She just sits crying, and I suppose that could be character development. It's a lot of people don't handle stress very well, especially when you kill someone. Doesn't always go that well.
No.
Speaking from experience.
So we get back to Riker making pizza.
Pizza.
And the thing I thought during this was, I presume everyone has seen, well, maybe not the finale of Enterprise, where everything's a holodeck, and everyone goes to Riker's kitchen to open up and confess, essentially as a form of counselling.
Yeah, he's like the Neelix.
Yeah, and this is exactly what's happening here. Riker's making pizza and he's dissecting Picard's mind at the same time. And it's just like, that's actually, I don't know if that was their intention to go with that, to go down that road.
I feel like it was Frakes' idea. He was
Maybe
like, have me cooking. That's what you should do. You should just have me cooking.
And I think it works really well for Riker.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know how. It's so impressive that Riker manages to exactly deduce what Picard's up to.
Well, that was because they needed to rehash what the plot of the show was about three times in the episode.
In case we forgot.
Yes. Yeah. And it means that you can jump into this episode because Riker's explained to everyone exactly what's happening.
Yeah, which is nice.
So, Troy and Kestra are speaking Thaddeus' language together.
Which is cool. It makes him seem like he was just a super intelligent child who was taken before his time. Because they say later on that he invented loads of languages. And Soji managed to learn the language in 2 minutes flat because she's an android. And it makes sense. And the only reason we find out then the only reason that Thad died was because of the synthetic baton. Because he needed a positronic matrix to run his blood through or something to neutralize I didn't really understand it, how you can neutralize a silicon based virus through a positronic matrix.
It's not important.
It didn't need to actually be there. He could have died of anything. It didn't need to be some ultra rare or curable disease. It could have been anything for me.
It's the price we pay for hatred and intolerance.
Yeah.
Can't cure disease.
Yeah. If only Soji had been around when Thaddeus passed away. We don't actually know when he passed away, though. That's the thing. Like, we don't know how old he was. At least I didn't pick up how old he was.
He probably at least was, I'd say about 10, or something like that, because he was making languages and everything.
Yeah.
And we get this long, drawn-out, meandering scene with Soji and Deanna Troi, and it's not the fault of Deanna Troi. It's generally when we wander off and our brains shut off. It's because of Soji.
Yeah, just watching Soji and go through a range of emotions.
Yeah, which usually ends up with
sniffle, and someone in the makeup crew putting a teardrop on her eye.
Yeah, spritzer. They spritzer her face.
But to round it off, Soji assaults Picard because he's a bit rude to her.
I don't remember him being rude.
I'm pretty sure he was
probably
rude.
patronising. Yeah. But this is rounded off. Some people are commenting. They're saying, "What's it? Every female member of the crew that Picard has met has shouted at him or belittled him, etc., etc." And now we got Soji gets to hit him. So
Woo! Yay!
Woo.
Yeah. Ah! Hey! Hey! Riker's just, hey! No!
yeah, that was funny. I thought he was gonna punch her or something like that, which was
Yeah.
hey, watch it.
Walk it in.
It was nice to see how defensive he was of Picard. So it's nice.
Well, we jump back to the cube, the death cube, and we catch Rizzo with Hugh, and she's about to murder him.
Yeah, they're in the act of trying to sabotage. And then all of a sudden a fight scene starts, and then spotlights come on.
It was so... I had such a problem with this. I was like, put that in the notes.
Yeah, Colin really didn't like this.
The spotlights. I was like, what's going on here? Who builds a place with spotlights that are on the ground going like that? Is it just to be difficult? Like, it's
to subvert our expectations of where these light sources should be.
Yeah, it's to subvert our expectations of where we should walk.
Yeah.
You're going to just fall down a pit.
And next, Rizzo kills Hugh, saying that he was caught in the act of sabotage, which makes me wonder, that would have just been her word against everyone else. I mean, she had no proof.
Well, she just tells Cher she can do what she wants.
But she said earlier, I can't kill you because you're a Federation. And then just says, I knew you were trying to sabotage us. Now I can kill you. But says who? She could have killed him the first time when she killed all the XBs and said that he was trying to sabotage. And
maybe she's making an example. I don't know.
All the Romulans that she was with are dead. Elrond killed them. Nobody can prove that he was trying to sabotage.
Yeah. Well, maybe those cameras.
But part of the plot. I didn't really like this because I felt like we'd just been reintroduced to Hugh to figure out who he is.
And he got hit in the side of the neck. Look, I'm not disparaging getting hit in the neck as being something that you can walk off, but they made it hit him at such an angle, like it was right here, right on the edge of the neck, that I was like, well, you wouldn't die instantly, especially not if you left a knife in there, you know, like.
Especially not with the technology that they have in the 24th century.
I've seen people survive worse, you know.
Well, I suppose it depends exactly where it hit him. When he died, you saw the blood.
Maybe it hit him in his Borg node.
Oh no! Damn, they keep killing all the XBs. Justice for Icheb.
Justice who?
Have we forgotten about poor Icheb?
Yes. Oh.
Then we get back aboard the HMS Grande, and Raffi and Girardi remind us of why we get so bored of this show.
It is. It's just painful to watch them have a little conversation. Is this a conversation about cake?
I didn't take that down. Let's assume it's the conversation about cake.
Yeah. Thankfully, the conversation ends. And we're back in Nepenthe. And it's nighttime. And we finally, as I said at the start of this live review, we finally have our pizza.
3 hours later.
Yeah. It took far too long.
Probably cold at this point. But let's assume in the 24th century they have something that keeps food consistently at the right temperature. I think that's not too much to ask for.
That'd be something great, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it? I mean, the amount of times anyone that cooks food can relate to this. One thing goes cold, the other thing is hot, and then imagine if you just had something that kept it at the optimum temperature.
Oh, I'm getting sad now thinking about food.
Well, let's wrap this up and get some breakfast.
Yeah. Well, I mean late night food.
Yes.
Woo, and stuff. But Castro manages to locate where Soji's homeworld is, thanks to
Captain Crunch.
You didn't even write down his actual name, so I can't even tell you his actual name. Captain Kendall.
Rupert Crandall.
Crandall.
Captain Crandall.
Yeah.
And but this scene had a really nice scene, I suppose, of Picard talking to Soji about his newfound resolve. I thought it was really nice. It had the music playing and everything.
Yeah, the only thing about this scene that bothered me is nobody was eating. If I was in this scene and my character wasn't actively participating in the conversation, I would have been stuffing my face.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's been far too long since I've had pizza. I would have devoured it.
It's good food. Rabbit corn.
Rabbit sausage. So then we get back aboard the HMS Grande, and there's mystery and intrigue I'll say that again. We have mystery and intrigue aboard the HMS Grande. Oh, we'll cut it and edit it.
We won't. It's staying in.
Oh no. The thing I noticed about Rios' acting in this scene when he was talking to Jurati, it was like somebody that was deliberately trying to mislead Jurati. It's like, I think Raffi is the spy.
Or he's trying to get it out of her by saying to her, I think this other person's a spy. Do you agree with me?
Could we have somebody
being
with a tracker on board?
Yeah. For those of you that aren't looking, Liam was winking there.
Yes.
Heavily.
But then Rios does go to the bridge when he hears Raffi say, they found us again. He's like,
and he's sitting in his captain's chair and he's just looking at her and he's like, I wonder. Medical emergency.
There's something different about you, Mrs. Raffi.
Yeah.
And then, so then Jurati then replicates hypo spray. But
of uranium, wasn't it?
I did like the microwave that she used. It had a real classic Star Trek sound and AI interface to it.
Like an analog interface.
Yeah, kind of the LCARS system.
It was like the one on the Utopia Planitia during the flashback of the synth attack.
What were they replicating things? I can't remember.
Food and replicating dinner. Yeah. But she injects herself with uranium to get rid of her tracker, which we find out quite quickly. But it caused her to have a seizure. The medical droid, I said droid, but whatever. The medical hologram comes along and he saves the day, puts her in a bed, and puts a blanket over her.
Please state the nature of your medical...
shit!
Oh, it's you again. I haven't finished with you. Of course, I presume he's taken the Hippocratic Oath, as we saw with the doctor.
And not the hypocritical.
Yeah. Okay, so we get back aboard the Borg cube, and Elrond is sneaking around like he's in a video game.
This is the scene I had the most issue with. It's very, very short, but it was actually just more so to do with the cinematography and the editing, where he finds a tag, and we don't know where that tag was. It on himself and it fell off? Was it hanging off that desk for some reason? We actually can't even speculate, because the camera angle just makes it seem like it was just hanging there the whole time. And I'd forgotten what the Fenris tag looked like.
But I didn't.
Yeah, but he hits the button and 7 of 9 shows up in the next episode.
We assume. Unless that was all deleted scenes.
Yeah, that'd be cruel though, wouldn't it?
No, she will be in the next episode. Then we get Riker and Picard walking through the woods, drinking their coffee, I presume, or tea.
This is the best scene in the whole.
Yeah, this was a nice scene, and this is what solidified this being a Trek episode with me, and something that you could rewatch and enjoy later on.
They just have a nice conversation about the past and about where they're going in the future and all the mistakes they've made. And
I think Picard asks Riker if he'd like to go back out there, and Riker says that he's still on active reserve from Starfleet. And I thought that was nice. It left open the possibility that Picard will perhaps go back to Starfleet because he'll have no other option, and maybe he'll go along with Riker in tow.
And maybe he won't ask the people who are actively against him to assist him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe he won't get talked down to by Admiral... What was her name? Admiral Sheer Gall.
Sheer.
Hubris.
Effing hubris.
Yeah.
What was her name? Clancy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Admiral Clancy. But it was a great scene.
It was so easy to watch. Oh, it was a relief. It was like the floodgates were open and I could just enjoy watching it. It was.
And I can't wait, because they didn't screw it up, to rewatch it and be like, oh, this is nice. And the aesthetic and everything was beautiful.
Compared to the last episode, I remember hating the rewatch of the last episode. I was absolutely miserable watching it.
Was so boring.
But this episode, I'm looking forward to it. After getting some breakfast, I'm going to enjoy this.
Yeah. Okay. And we saw their idyllic country lodge that they live in, and the beautiful world, and what's it, the dual planets or moons above
The triple moons
it was
in the
beautiful.
sky.
It was so sci-fi and it was so optimistic.
It was so almost Earth. You know when you get planets that like are almost Earth, and you're like, there's always that little thing off. This planet just had the strange rock formations and the moons.
What I want to know is where's Captain Crunch?
Captain,
is he going to come along
Crunch.
later?
Yeah, and he's supposed to be older than Picard, so we'll find out it's Jellicoe.
Yes, and then to finish off the episode, we get a nice scene between Soji and Kestra, but our minds kind of ruined the scene.
Picard wants you. Was it? What? It was something like that, wasn't it?
Maybe you too can have Picard.
Yeah, you can have Picard.
Yeah, our minds wandered in
but
the
it
wrong
was
direction.
perfectly innocent, you know.
Yeah.
All right, let's close it up there because that was a good episode.
Yeah, in short, like I loved it.
Like I can't criticize. I really hope it keeps at this level. It won't.
No,
I really hope it keeps.
And that's the worst thing, is knowing that this is our new Eden, so to speak.
Yeah.
As we said at the beginning of doing these reviews, we'll rate these by Point of Light and New Eden, which were 2 episodes in Star Trek Discovery that were the polar opposites of each other.
Juxtaposing each other.
Yeah.
This is our New Eden.
New
yeah.
Eden.
So far so good. More Riker would be great, but he's gone now because they beamed off the planet.
Yeah, but
Maybe he'll show.
Producers, take note. You're probably going to have more favourable reviews after this episode. Stop missing the mark. Stop missing the opportunity.
Just give us all the old characters. Give us Worf leading the Enterprise F. That'd be cool.
Yeah. This should be a continuation of The Next Generation. So we should be going on this journey with characters we know instead of just Picard.
Yeah, it's not. I know it's called Picard, but the difference is it assumes that Picard cut everyone he ever knew out of his life and just went to live in France.
He didn't even go to live in some other sector of the universe.
He's on Earth.
Just on Earth, yeah.
Anyone could visit him at any time.
Yeah.
But anyway, getting into it.
Yeah. So, as in terms of a Star Trek episode, I'd give it 7 out of 10 maybe.
Yep.
Because there was so much fun in there that I felt it was a natural continuation of Star Trek.
Yeah, the only thing that brought it down was really the Borg cube. I didn't actually mind the HMS Grande too much.
Yeah.
Borg cube was the worst part.
And that's the thing about when episodes are have really good ideas or really good stories in them. You overlook the negative things because you're so invested in what's going on.
Yeah, you just want to get back to the good part.
Yeah.
And you're willing to forgive the bad parts.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll close it out there. So, if you like what you saw, if you enjoy what you see, give us a like, give us a subscribe. We will be putting up our edited review tomorrow, hopefully. And we've been the Hologrumps. I'm Colin.
And I'm Liam.
And remember,
existence is futile. Although not today.
Not today. It was great today. I'm really happy. I can't really complain. Better close this out before I go.
Before it gets awkward.
This was great. Goodbye.